everyone, and welcome to Apex Online Racing here in AOR Season 22, Round number 3. We are in Monte Carlo today for the Monaco Grand Prix. We got some fantastic Tier 1 action here today on PC. And Benny, we both know Monaco's a very hard track. How are you feeling about today?
I'm thinking there's going to be a lot more action than the Belgian Grand Prix from earlier today. I can guarantee that. And I'll tell you what, if at the start of the season's been crazy with the amount of safety cars we've had, well, it's not going to slow down anytime soon here in Monaco.
Yes, speaking of that, so most of the other tiers across the other leagues, which we'll discuss more in a sec, have actually switched to reduced damage, which is just front wing damage, standard damage rate, so that is unchanged, and then a reduced safety car. Now here for Tier 1, these drivers are considered the best that we have, so they will be staying on the old standard settings. So we might have a few safety cars today. We might see, drivers keep it clean because, drivers know the risk. You know if you hit the wall, you're going to take the damage, and it's going to destroy your race. So I'm curious to see if we see a few people drive a little slower and take it more cautiously. But I know a few people that I've practiced with, and they've had some struggles, and they are Tier 1 drivers. So it will be interesting. But now, before we get into the lobby and get all situated, we're going to go through once again for our new weekly segment of going through the standings. So Benny and I will take you guys all through the championship standings for each tier. So on the screen now, you guys see the current top 5 in Tier 1 along with the team championship standings. You can see the plus minus for the positions changed, and we'll also go through and label who has won previous races. So that is going to play. We're going to do Tier 1 and PC. We'll talk about our tier for a second. And then we're going to highlight all the PC tiers on main leagues and assists. We're going to highlight the Xbox one. However, for more Xbox action, they do have an unofficial stream on Twitch. And then we're going to go through and give the championship standings for the PlayStation. I see we have some viewers asking about a PlayStation stream. Unfortunately, we do not have commentators at the moment for them. However, we're still going to give them some love. So stick around now, and we're going to go first. I want to bring you guys through the Tier 1 championship standings. So right now, Jan Fehler still leading the way after 2 podiums to start the season. That dominant race win in Bahrain, but then a little bit of unfortunate luck in Spain with the safety cars only allowed him to finish P3, still on the podium, but behind him now is the other race winner this season, Sauer Broughton, a reserve driver at this time, currently sitting on the grid with 35 points, 6 points behind Jan Fehler. Had a fantastic race last week, pulled a very smart strategy move by staying out on the hards and made it pay off. In third is Ripson. He gave us some fantastic overtakes, but penalties were what cost him the race win last week. Now, can he keep it clean in Monaco? That will be tricky. In fourth, we have F1 Racer up 3 positions. He was really quick last week in Spain. Hopefully he can keep that momentum going. And in fifth place is FVR Darn. Now, Darn DNF'd last week, but he had a podium to start the season, giving him 15 points to his name. Now, in the team championship, Team Reserve leading the way with 65 points. It's not something you normally see, but Sauerbrot and Ripson have been absolutely electric these first 2 races. So they could possibly get moved to a full-time seat if a seat opens up. But as of right now, they're carrying the reserve team. But out of the actual teams on the grid, McLaren is currently the leading that group, sitting in second, being carried by Jan Fehler with Donut Hole contributing 4 points. And then the team Ferrari in third. So that is our Tier 1 standings. Now we're going to go over and look at the Tier 3 standings. Benny, you want to take a look at them?
Yeah, 2 podiums for Creepy Drive, including a win at Bahrain, keeps him top of the standings. He's on 43. Scrag is in second, 12 points back off his second place finish in Bahrain. Did not podium in Spain. Kanaku's win in Spain, his first win in the points. He didn't point in Bahrain. He's in third, and then Herman is in fourth with the podium in Bahrain as well. He's on 16. He's tied with Mr. Joshua, actually, who is also got a podium in Spain. It was also a third place, so 16 points for the likes of them. That's the top 5, and in the constructors, Aston Martin on 49 leading the way. Alfa Romeo just 2 points back, and then it's Haas in third on 31.
All right, now over to the Tier 4 standings. Leading the way is Leonard in the Red Bull. He is currently tied, however, with Gerard. Do you think that's Gerard? I mean, I'm thinking it looks like Gerard, but I think I could be Gerard. So
I don't know. It's an E to me, so it's Gerd. I have no
Garrett.
idea.
All right. So we go the Romanian driver tied with the German driver at the top. The two of them splitting first place and second place finishes by a margin. The two of them currently tied at the front of the field. In third place is Balu, the Hungarian. Does not have a podium, but he's sitting on the podium in the championship, which is pretty good. That's good consistency. And then in fourth and fifth, we have the Mercedes of TW, Linkerban, and Ludermare, both of them with one podium and one do not start for them. Now look at the team championships. AlphaTauri is leading the Red Bulls by a 10-point margin, so Leonard's going to have to put more of that Red Bull team on his back if he wants to compete with his championship rival and to have his team compete in the team championship. Over to Tier 5, Benny.
Tier 5 is led by Victor Wassa, who has a first and a second place, so he's at the top with 43 points. Stack Attack's double third place has got him in second, nestled in on 30 points. Tom JD is 2 points back on third after a second place at Bahrain. A win for Cini in Spain gets him up to fourth place, just 2 points back of Tom JD, and then another 4 points back of him is Pingu in fifth. The team championship there, Scuderia Ferrari at the top, 47 points, as AlphaTauri, their sister team, is in second place on 37. Haas and Aston Martin are both just a point back, though, on 30 each.
All right, and now we're going to go ahead and look at tier number 6 here. On top, we have the Alfa Romeo of RF Gangster. Nice 20-point lead. You could say that is gangster if you're into slang terms. Skady sitting in P2 in the Mercedes, 20 points behind. He won race 1 but did DNF'd in race 2, so he's looking to rebound and close that championship gap. And third is the Spanish driver of Haas, Luisio, doing a very good job. And in fourth is the overseer of all the F1 leagues, Airdy147 in the Williams. Does not have a podium to his name. Hopefully he'll do a little better, but we'll see. Over on the team championship side, we have Alfa Romeo with a 5-point advantage over Mercedes. Now, Alfa Romeo, all their points have been scored by Gangster, but the second Mercedes driver, Boxer Frog, who is not shown here because he's down in 7th, does have a podium to his name. So the Mercedes side looking pretty good with Haas only 9 points back from Alfa Romeo. So a tight team championship battle over here. Benny, F7?
F7, final tier here for the PC main leagues. It's Arfra with 51 points, double winner, and a fastest lap in one of those races ahead of the double third place of Hamidi in third. 2 points back of that is Jerseus with the second place finish in Spain, and just 3 points back of him is Supersonic Frisbee with the second place in Bahrain. Steve with double fourth places is going to give him 24 points, and he is nestled in fifth position. The team championship there, Red Bull Racing Honda, 51 points at the top. It's Haas and McLaren, though, duking it out in second place. They're both level on 36 points, 15 back.
All right, now as we go into the assist leagues, it's just worth pointing out, Benny, that the lobby is now up, and so the drivers are currently getting into queue, and so action will be coming soon. But over to the assist leagues in tier number 1. Now, these guys, they might be using assist, so the assist leagues have traction control, ABS, racing line, and auto gears enabled, but don't sleep on these guys. They are very, very quick. Leading the way is Froxer. He's actually has 2 second-place finishes, but that is good enough to have the championship lead right now over Avi, the Scottish driver who won the first race but came down 7th in Spain. McBlurk sitting in 3rd, if it's AlphaTauri, has a win in Spain but did not race week 1. He's looking to rise up in the standings, and he is followed by Karnak and Kane. Now, Ferrari, you can see there, 1st and 4th in the Drivers' Championship, 1st place by a mile in the Team Championship over McLaren, doing a fantastic job there. AlphaTauri sitting in 3rd, up 7 positions after McBlurk's win in Spain. Over to you, Benny, for Tier 2.
Tier 2, I beg your pardon, I've closed the wrong tab. Sorry, Tier 2, Scorp is in the lead. He has got the Spain win. He's going to be on 29 points, just 2 points ahead of Ted in third place, in second place, who got a third place in Spain. Beyond with the second place in Bahrain is good enough for third. He is a point back of Ted. It's super tight up here in Tier 2. And just 1 point back of him is Nias and Ioe Bros, who are on 25 points apiece. In the team championships, McLaren lead the way at 51. Red Bull second with 40, and then Alpine just a point back of them with 39 in third.
That Tier 2 championship is probably the closest one we have. 6 drivers with a podium through 2 races. Man, That is close. But over to Tier 3 now, which on the other hand is absolutely being dominated by McLaren. Catalini winning the first race, and his teammate, Raitu, in a second after winning the second race. So McLaren absolutely dominating here in AL3. Deadeye sitting in third in his Aston Martin. Farrell dude fourth, and Kushti in fifth. And then, like I was saying, McLaren is leading by almost double the points of Aston Martin in second, looking to try to run away with this team championship. Now with AL4 for Benny.
So I beg your pardon. Tier 4, we have got Charles Legerg, great name. He's leading the way on 41 points with double podium. Archer with a win last week, though, is going to move him up to the second, just 4 points back. And Matessa with the double second place is just a point off of that in third. Zen Wamsky is very far back from third place. He's 15 points back. Or beg your pardon, he's 17 points back in fourth. Wojciech is 3 points back of that in fifth. The team championship, Aston Martin leads the way, 56 points. Mercedes just 7 back of that in second, followed by Haas on 36 in third. Tier 5 now.
Tier 5 for the assist leagues now. This one's a little bit more spread out, but 6 drivers with a podium through 2 races. Bullet Rider leading the way after winning in Spain, but coming home 6th in Bahrain. White Wolf in second, 1 in Bahrain, but DNF last week, so he's looking to have a nice comeback. Netty Mix in third in his Ferrari. Messiah Complex in fourth, and Idem in fifth in the Haas. Alpine leading the team's championship by 11 points over McLaren, followed by Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, and Aston Martin. So that is a very, very tight split we have in AL5. Now, over to the Xbox championship standings. Benny?
Yes, Xbox only one tier, and that is Harlan, who leads the way. He has got the win in Spain and the win in Bahrain is fourth in Spain, 37.6 back is SRT MK47 with the win in Spain. Kibosh is going to be in third. He has got the third place from Spain to get him up into third place. SRT Toro 14 for the second place in Bahrain has gotten him in fourth, and then it looks like Jim is in fifth with a second place in Spain. The team championship, Alpine lead the way, 55 points. 20 back is McLaren in second, and then just 4 back is Ferrari in third. Over to the PlayStation leagues now.
Yes, over to the PlayStation leagues indeed. A lot of blue for the PlayStation color here. Up at the top is Tosh22KA, leading the way in PlayStation Main League number 1, so no assist in there. Leading the way with 30 points. The American driver does not have a win to his name, but has a podium, doing a great job representing America, that's for sure. Behind him, though, is the Frenchman of Simu Rally Monst with 25 points. He won out in Bahrain, but only finished 13th in Spain. With the similar fortune sitting in third, TRM Kvitor, the Hungarian driver, DNFing in Bahrain, winning in Spain. Fourth is Jericho Scriff, and fifth, TRM Amwoy. AlphaTauri, as you can see, 2 of the drivers in the top 5. Well, they are leading the way in the constructors by only 5 points over Red Bull. So while they have 2 drivers in the top 5, Red Bull has their second driver in 6th. So they are still right in the fight there. Alpine in third, only 10 points off the lead of the constructors. Now let's go see how Tier 2 looks, Benny.
Yes, Tier 2, Elysium is at the top, 37 points. It's Rob 2K, 12 points back. Both of them are race winners. Super Jesse with a third place is going to be in third. Andre Ivan in fourth with a second place in Spain to get into the points finally. And as Worthington Tonio is also on 18 points for this second place in Bahrain. Team Championship, Williams leads the way, 43 points. AlphaTauri's 10 back with 33. McLaren in third on 27. Now over to Tier 3.
Tier 3 in the PlayStation League is currently being led by the McLaren of Mika Sir. 43 points on the board for them and 8 points clear of the rival. No Mercy, the Swiss driver won round 1, but Mika Sir got second round 1 and then won in Spain, while No Mercy only came home in 6th. In third place, Donk Danks, who has 2 third-place finishes for a nice 30 points in that Mercedes. The other McLaren in fourth of Zogai. The McLaren with 26 points has a podium in Spain, and then in fifth is El Nacho in the AlphaTauri. Now the McLarens are dominating once again here in Tier 3 with a 69 points to their name, but about half as many points behind is the Alfa Romeo team, with the Mercedes team very, very close in third. Now we're going to go over to the PlayStation Assist Leagues.
Yes, 3 more leagues to go. Let's run through them. Qualifying has just started. Dark is in the lead in Tier 1 for the Assist League. He's got a win at a second place. He's on 44 points. Makalui is going to be in second place with a second place in Spain, 28 points, just 2 back, or just 2 ahead, I should say, of, is that Matt FIA in third with a win from Bahrain. I don't know, but Ben Soot is in fourth as Finger Pilot is going to be in fifth place as well with a 1 podium. Team standings, Mercedes lead the way, 63 points. McLaren is 13 back in second. AlphaTauri is even further back, 21 in fact, on just 29 points. Over to Tier 2.
Tier 2, we got Team GD Benjay in the lead with a Ferrari, only 32 points to his name. He won round 1, 7th in Spain. Behind him, Breezy Blackout with the 2nd and 4th in his name, 28 points. Danny Kvyat Tour, the Frenchman, winning in Spain, did not race week 1, looking to improve. He's up 14 places. M125CCM in 4th and Multi-Rabsy in 5th. Now, Aston Martin only has a 6-point lead in the Constructors over McLaren, with Ferrari another 2 points behind that. Mercedes and Alfa Romeo down in 4th and 5th. Now for the final tier that we're going to show, Tier 3 with PlayStation, Benny.
Yep, Tier 3, Hazard, he got a win in Spain. He leads the way as Levelat has got the second place in Spain, so he is in second place. Deadly Biscuit, or Dead Fly Biscuit, I should say, is in third with his 1 podium and 4th place finish. Samuel is in fifth, is in 4th with the win in Spain, and then you got F1 Gatecrasher with a podium in Spain to get up into 5th position. He's actually tied on points with Samuel ahead of him, as so is Dead Fly Biscuit and Levelat. For the team championship, AlphaTauri leads the way with 29 points, but it is a 4-way tie for second place with Aston Martin, Ferrari, Haas, and Williams, and then McLaren is just 2 back in 6th, actually. So very tight championship in the constructors there in Tier 3 assists for the PlayStation.
Yeah, definitely a lot of close tiers here in AOR. Always great to see the action. Now, the 2 tiers we did not cover are PCF2. They have their stream on the other AOR live stream right now, so go ahead and take a look at them for how they are doing. And then America's, which is tonight, which Benny will be back here in the commentary box with a new co-commentator, so we'll let that be a little bit of a surprise. But now, to the action on track. We are 15 minutes left into quali. We got started a few minutes ago while we were going through the championships, and right now we only have 16 drivers today. A handful of no-shows. I think Monaco has kind of scared off a few drivers, that's for sure, Benny, but interesting thing, I just got told by Failer. So right now, drag quali, as you can see, for the first couple minutes of the race, a little bit of rain.
Oh no, it's not Spa all over again, is it?
Oh, apparently it's light rain. It's a little bit, and it's supposed to die off. So the first 5 to 10 minutes is going to be rain, and then it's going to go right to dry. So it's going to be interesting what kind of strategies to go. I mean, it's probably be wet enough that everyone will start on inners, and then they'll have to switch. So it's really just going to be gunning it right now. It's right now Sauerbraten leading the way. We're looking at Galaxy right now in the Red Bull, currently going through Sector 3. Darn jumps up with the first 108 on the board, but now Galaxy, since we were watching him already, we're going to see what he does when he crosses the line, and it's going to be a 109.172. He's in 4th. But yeah, qualifying is going to be everything. It's F1 Racer. We all have a yellow flag in Sector 2, but that is cleared up real quickly. F1 Racer jumping to the top already.
Yeah, F1 Racer. Is Galaxy on his in lap, by the way. He's just shunted into the wall, so
Oof.
he's gonna lose some time to repairs. It's Hittinen who's really the only flying lap right now. F1 Racer with a very good lap. He had a decent performance in Bahrain. I believe he got promoted to P7 in the end, if I remember correctly. But Hittinen here goes across the line P2. He's only 3/100ths of a second behind F1 Racer.
Yeah, really, really close margins. Not enough to get through, but the Finnish driver finally starting to have a good qualifying performance. 108.634. A lot better than what we've seen in the first 2 races. Now, last time, as Cymax goes up into P number 1, that is a very, very nice job by the Frenchman and the Alfa Romeo. Now, back to Hittinen real fast. Last time I saw him around Monaco was a year ago in the old Tier 2. And he was really quick around here, so I've been giving him a little bit of commentator curse, unfortunately. but hopefully we do good. And here to remind me in the chat, we do have a new, well, not really a new driver. It's his first race this season, attending Richie B down in P10 in the Haas. So he is one of the main Haas drivers. But you can see Ripson is once again subbing in the Haas, and Sauerbraten, as you can see, is in the Alfa Romeo today. So good to have one of the drivers here.
He's in the Aston Martin. But
oh, jeez, I am so sorry.
Trust me, my eyes are blind. Just wait till the Americas race. But nonetheless, that was the point I was going to make, is that both Ripson and Sauerbraten, team reserves, they're back for more. Third race in a row. See, never, guys, never. If you're ever thinking about joining AOR, never get discouraged if you get put in a reserve role, because you're still going to get plenty of action as we see Ripson move aside. He actually went top 108.1. It's fastest by 0.4, Fizzy.
Yes, but right now Patrick went purple through Sector 1. I do not think we can count out Patrick. He was really quick last week in Spain. Jan Fehler's also on an outlap right now, so we'll have to wait and see what our championship leader can do. I've got a little scouting him. I do think Pole will be in the 107 today, because I've seen a few drivers do that. But Patrick through Sector 2, he's purple. He's got a 50.5 Sector 2 split. That is mighty quick, but he invalidates through the swimming pool section. Breaks his off his right end plate. And it was a 50.5 Sector 2 split. Was looking very quick, but instead he's just going to get a delta down on the board. Behind him, though, Kev Genetics flying right now. Don't think he was purple through any sector, but let's see what the Alpine driver can do. Coming through Anthony Nages now. It's just a flat-out run to the line. It's looking like it's going to be a 108, 108.7. That's good enough for P5. But I think with right on board with Jan Fehler, I'm just kidding. He invalidated his lap. So a little bit of
he just lost it at the Monte Carlo hairpin there, or the turn right after the hairpin. So maybe took a little bit too much of the inside curve. It's a tricky one to take, because there's really, unlike a lot of other tracks where there tends to be a little bit of grip on the section just after the curve, there really isn't much traction on that curve. So you have to take a bit of it, but you don't want to take too much of it. And Jan Fehler this time just taking a little bit too much of it. But I'm interested to see, Fizzy, how Sauerbraten does. He's back on his second flying lap. He went into the pits. He's back now on another lap, and he's almost a 10th up. He's purple, actually, through Sector 1.
All right, let's ride on board with him through the rest of this lap. Now, going through the Grand Hotel hairpin, now through Mirabeau Boss, now nice and slow, holding third gear very surprisingly enough. Downshift to second, short shift from the third, through Portier, and now through the tunnel section. Flat out here on the run, all the way down to the Novell chicane. It's going to be very heavy braking here. Brake after the 100-meter board. Down to third. Down all the way to second. Getting nice turn in. Short shifting up to get all the traction he can out of the chicane. Now into to back. Right after the 50. Down to fifth. Being very committed. 51.1 through the middle sector. Not the fastest we've seen, but now through the swimming pool section. Keeping it on track. Keeping it valid. And all he has to do is Raskas and Anthony Nages now. Losing a little bit of the rear end a bit there. Second. Now third. It's a flat-out run to the ride. Sauerbraten should put himself in the top 7, if I'm correct. He only goes 8, so not as fast up as I thought he would be, but there we have it. So the 51s is like through Sector 2, a 51-something split is going to be over half a second off of Ripson's current provisional pole time. So that's something to keep in the back of our head as more drivers complete laps, like our mate, who's on the run to the line right now, and he's up into 7th with a 108.8.
A very solid lap from our mate. Really good stuff. You've got the other Haas goat, Richie, looks like coming across the line now, and he doesn't improve his position. Actually, he's 3 seconds slower, so maybe got held up by traffic. But nonetheless, we'll see how Jan Fehler does. Remember, he invalidated his first lap. He is still in the pits, so you know, I'm interested to see if he just comes out and tries to put like a bonsai kind of lap in here, because
Leor's retired.
I'm sorry?
Leor's just retired through the swimming pool section. Sauerbraten just drove past him, but Leor's absolutely losing the rear end, and that is the Israelis' day done. But back to what you were saying about Jan and Patrick and all them.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, Sauerbraten went right into the pits, immediately put another set of tires on, and then came right out. So, like, he is trying to get 3-4 good laps. You know, he has the time to put 3 or 4 laps in if he needs it. Whereas Jan is just kind of sitting in the pits now. Maybe there's just too much traffic out in the track, although it looks like it's starting to clear up a little bit.
Well, speaking of traffic, Kai coming out the final quarter, F1 racer was purple through Sector 2. He was a 50.5 middle sector. He's going to come to the line. He's going to be 88 thousandths of a second off for Ripson. It's a 108.2. Not good enough for pole, but good enough for provisional front row. Now, speaking of the front row, the two drivers who have invalidated the laps, Patrick and Jan Fehler, that was our front row last week. So we'll have to see if they'll be able to, one of them will put it back on the front row. But right now it's all Ripson leading the way, getting his tires warmed up. Now, one other thing to note about this track that's very, I call this interesting. So 5 kilograms of fuel, which is the minimum you can put in the car, is only good enough, or is good enough for 4.5 laps around here. So these drivers coming out of the garage, they might do a couple laps on their tires just to burn off fuel. Because, you know, if you just like go for it on your first lap, you're going to have 3-some laps of fuel. While if you wait a little bit longer, you'll be able to burn some off. So interesting strategy calls being made out on track. CF1 Racer yielding to drivers through the Nouvelle chicane. But now things are getting heated up with 7 minutes and 13 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm watching currently on board with Patrick. You went purple in Sector 1. He's coming up to the end of Sector 2. I think he just might have brushed the wall. He's purple in Sector 2. Let's see how he does here. He went through the swimming pool chicane really good. He got a 50. He was in the 50s for Sector 2, so looking really good. That's a pretty, oh, we took a little bit too much curve there at the end, but it's still looking like a pretty good lap, and it's good enough for 3rd place. It looks like that wobble right at the end is enough to cost him pole position, but he's just a 1/10.5 off of Ripson now.
I have to absolutely agree there. That 3rd sector is what cost him, but Ripson, let's keep an eye on him. He's a 10th improved through Sector 1. Haytonen goes provisional pole by 0.004 of a second. Ripson, meanwhile, invalidates the Nouvelle chicane, but he was on a flyer for a potential 107. So all eyes on him. Jan Fehler, meanwhile, purple through Sector 1, and that's after Haytonen just went on provisional pole with the 108.1. So let's see what the German driver can do. He's running out of time to even set a lap time, let alone something for provisional pole. But now through the tunnel section, a little bit of traffic up the road. We'll see what he does now into the Nouvelle chicane. Well, actually, let's ride on board with the German driver now. So let's keep an eye on him, see if he goes purple through Sector 2. He's one of the guys who I've seen do a 107. Question is, will he do it now? He's 50.3 through Sector 2. He is much faster than what we've seen from the rest of the drivers. Now all he's got is Raskas and Anthony Nages holding in second, short shifting to 3rd, holding 3rd, now up to 4th already out of Nages. Now it's flat out to the line, excuse me. This should be pole. This is provisional pole with a 107.9. Jan Fehler once again showing everyone why he's a former esports driver.
Absolutely fantastic lap from Jan Fehler. He nailed that swimming pool chicane absolutely brilliantly. Took so much inside curve, but he made sure that the sausage curve didn't really unbalance the car too much, and he kept it just absolutely roped in that final sector. Fantastic stuff from Jan Fehler, really, as that's going to be pole position. So, or at least for now, you've got Goat Richie around the track. Or is it going to be Ripson? It's Ripson who's the next one across the line. He's done this isn't going to be, it's his in lap. He's invalidated it. Yeah, my bad. So I thought maybe Ripson was going to challenge for that 2nd lap, but no, he's way off the pace and most of the field. And now it looks pretty good for Jan Fehler here. Well, you said the pole's in the 107s, and he's just ducked the car into 107s.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more time to find. As we're watching Richie V cross the line, he was almost a second improved through Sector 2. He does improve by a second, up to 9th in his Haas. But yeah, Jan Fehler setting the benchmark, Haytonen alongside him. Good to see the Finnish driver up there. Now Ripson did look like he had an answer for not only Haytonen, but possibly for Jan Fehler. But again, invalidating that run when he was over a 10th up through Sector 1 alone. You know, he's going to have to wait a little bit longer, go once again. Now, these guys are going to start out on what we're going to assume intermediate tires. They said it wasn't heavy rain, so it should be intermediates. Now, if they're starting out on softs, oh boy, dear Lord, like that's going to be brutal. But I'm assuming they're going to be on inners. So it's a matter of now, do these guys even save a set of softs because they know there's going to be some rain? Do you just, do you save it? What do you do? So a lot of strategy come into play in these last few minutes, but a lot of drivers out on track. Azur, who is, I believe, Atrocity, if I am correct. No, it's not Atrocity. Who is Azur? I can't remember what their name was. Is that Minty? Yeah, I think that is Minty currently in the Mercedes. I don't believe that is one of our other reserves, but Azur down in 10th place. I'm going to confirm that right now.
Well, while you do, I just want to say Kev Jennings was also on the track about 2 minutes ago, and he actually has improved his position out of the top 10 into 6th position. So nicely done from him. As we have Darn, who is on a hot lap. He is the I think he's probably going to have to pull out this hot lap. He's already 9/10 slowest through the first sector, so I think just too much traffic because he's got, looks like a Alfa Romeo in front of him, and SIMSOK, who is on a fast lap as well. So we'll see if SIMSOK can. Oh, he's invalidated his lap through the Novell chicane. Would you look at that? He took too much inside curb. It is a very difficult chicane, Fizzy, I gotta say. But one thing to note, I believe it is actually our mate's first. I think he's got a full-time seat now, right? This is his first race as a full-time driver, if I remember correctly.
No, our mate has been in the Red Bull this whole time, but first-time driver.
What was it?
So I don't believe there's been any moves in that regard, because otherwise we would see Sauerbraten or Ripson, as they are the main reserves, in a full-time seat. However, this is the first time we're seeing Azur. So Azur is not Minty. Apologies for that. Azur is the other South African on the grid, currently subbing in for Minty, whose controller is broken. So Azur, in their first appearance, currently running P10. Not too bad. So we do have a new driver here today. I believe new to AOR period, so they are a brand new rookie. And sitting in 10th right now, not improving on this current run, but with a minute 53 left, everything's about to kick off. We'll do everything we can to keep up with the action on track. Hitting and improving through Sector 1. I didn't see Ripson split, but he's right up the road from him. So I think let's keep an eye on those two.
Okay, Ripson. You said Ripson and
Hittinen. Actually, was Patrick right up? Okay, Patrick's just starting his lap. Right now, Ripson is going through the Novell chicane. Right behind him is Hittinen. There's a yellow flag through sectors 1 and 2. I think that's just Jan Fehler being slow, letting people through. But Ripson is over 2/10 faster. He's not purple through Sector 2, but he's improving, and he's improving by a lot. He did just lose his right-hand end plate, though. This might cost him the lap through Rascas. Yes, he smacks into the wall, and he bails out of it. It is heartbreak for Ripson, who was potentially looking to steal pole there, and instead he returns to the pits. Now Hittinen, meanwhile, coming through Anthony Nodges now. He's not improving on this lap. I think he backed out. He's going for one more run, so the Finnish driver still has a chance to improve, but Ripson will be no higher than third place, as there he goes. He retires in the pits. Patrick, meanwhile, purple through Sector 2. He's a 10th and a half up, but can he nail Sector 3? No, he cannot. He invalidates the swimming pool section, but does he have enough time to go again? Our mate, meanwhile, retires in the pits. Can't tell if the checker flag is out yet. Is it? I can't tell. Patrick should have crossed the line. No, 30 seconds left. So Patrick has enough time for one more run, but he invalidates turn 1. He will not improve from 5th position. Jan Fehler, meanwhile, just started a lap behind him. Who else is flying right now? Kev Genetics through Sector 1. He is down by 2/10. We have one of the Mercedes in the fall sector. That is Rivershan, as F1 Racer goes provisional pole with a 107.9. Rivershan up to 10th, moving into the top 10 with an improvement, but only good enough for 10th. Now we got an Alfa Romeo. That is SIMSOK coming up to the line. He is starting his final lap. Behind him, is that Darn? That is Darn. Darn's going to cross the line. Darn all the way up into 5th position. Good qualifying lap by the Williams driver. Now is that Hittinen. That is Hittinen, but he invalidated his run. It would have potentially been a 108.2. Would not have been an improvement. Behind him, Richie B does not improve from 11th position. Now we got Kev Genetics invalidated his lap, so he will not improve. Behind him, it is looking like Field Racing Seb. He invalidated his lap. He's got a Red Bull behind him as well. That is Galaxy, who also invalidated. So what does Jan Fehler have to say? He's purple through Sector 2, and he's coming through Rascas now. Can Jan Fehler retake pole position from his fellow countrymen? He's going to cross the line. It's a 107.7. He is on provisional pole. Can anyone stop Jan today? Patrick invalidated his lap. F1 Racer is not on a push lap. He is backed out of his lap. I do not believe anyone can displace him. Rivershan's into the pits. SIMSOK is invalidated. Jan Fehler is on pole.
And the big thing too is his closest championship rival right now, Sauerbraten, invalidated his final lap. He's down in P13 where he's going to start the race. So towards the back of the field, disaster qualifying session for Sauerbraten. His teammate though, his AIR, his airborne teammate though, P4 for him. But what a good lap from F1 Racer. However, anything he can do, Jan Fehler can do better so far this season. He's got yet another provisional pole.
Yes, Jan Fehler once again laying down the law. Great lap by the German driver, fellow countryman F1 Racer, sitting in P2. Also a very good lap. F1 Racer, his Bahrain performance, it was midfield, and he was able to, he had a good end of the race, but he wasn't competing towards the front in Bahrain. Spain last week, and now so far in Monaco, up towards the front. closing the gap to Jan Fehler. Jan was definitely more than 2/10 clear last week, but now only a 10th to Racer. But Racer looking really quick. 4/10 behind is Hitman, though, in third. Now, to answer the quick question in chat, you can join the PlayStation League by signing up on the AOR Beta website. Go ahead and sign up in the main or the assist tiers, and they'll get you racing as soon as possible. But, Benny, I think we're in for an exciting race.
I think we're in for a really exciting race. I mean, Jan Fehler's lap was just so phenomenal. It was absolutely fantastic. Even's got the dogs excited. That's how good it was. But nonetheless, really, really solid lap from him. And you know, I like that F1 Racer's also showing quite a bit of pace. You know, he's been a pretty solid performer so far this season. So really, if you're F1 Racer, you're sitting in fourth in the championship. You've got Sauerbraten, who's 11 points ahead of you, starting at least 10 positions back. Gotta be pretty happy with that qualifying performance.
You have to be very happy. I agree. But now here's the kicker. It's the actual race. There is rain coming down. I'm not sure. I believe it's looking like it's wet enough for inners. I mean, we're staring out of the pit lane, so that doesn't really help us at all. But yes, my dog. I do apologize for Ozzy barking a lot. He is a little upset by someone walking outside. Do apologize for the background noise, but nevertheless, some of the drivers have started to ready up. We'll be going on the formation lap in 23 seconds. Should be a really good one. Now, of course, Monaco, we'll do what we can when it comes to action. I think we're going to get a decent amount of people hitting the wall because it's just the nature of it. People pushing, and that's just going to happen no matter what. Overtakes will be tricky, but they will be exciting. And I do think that we might have a more enjoyable Monaco Grand Prix than what we saw in real life. And it's definitely, like you said at the start of the stream, Benny, it's definitely going to be more exciting than today's race in Belgium.
I can imagine so. But, yeah, I mean, it really interesting grid. I mean, hitting it as well in P3. I mean, he's sitting kind of down there in the championship. Remember, he was 16th in the championship. He hasn't scored points all season long. He had an 11th and a 12th. And here he is finding himself in P3.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, Patrick did just disconnect. I'm sure he's trying to get back into the lobby real fast because he's going to lose a lot of time starting in 6 and having his AI drive for him. Hopefully, though, I would not trust the AI around here lap 1 because they like to just send it up the inside of people. So Patrick might be in for a shocker today. Unfortunately, he has disconnected for the time being. Let me get him back in here. But Jan Fehler leading the way. Everyone on, I believe, the intermediate tires. Yes, everyone's on the inners. Track is pretty wet. But if the rain's going to clear up quickly, it's a question it's going to be who goes for what tire. You know, if it say it clears up lap 7, you know, we still got 32 laps to go. Do you, if the track's slowly drying, do you go for hards and mediums where you're going to make it to the end of the race, but you're going to struggle for grip? Or do you take a gamble, go for a set of softs, have the superior grip, you know, make the undercut work, and then pit a second time? Those are some of the things going through our drivers' heads right now. And, man, wet Monaco. I do not want to be out on track right now, so good luck to these guys.
This is a nightmare to drive in, really. I think if it starts to dry up that early, you got to go for the softs. This is not a place where, you know, you want to be struggling for grip. It is so unforgiving. It is extremely bumpy, and it is extremely tight. So, genuinely, by its nature, there's just absolutely no room for forgiveness. There isn't really in any competitive race that you would ever compete in, but Monaco is especially so. So I think if that's the case, you just want to get on with the softs and get the grip. So we'll see if that's what the drivers do. We'll see how long the rain lasts as well. Inters is what they start on, and quite frankly, Fizzy, it's not one of those things where the track is like just damp. It's relatively pretty wet.
Alrighty, well, here we go. We're going to find out all the answers now. The lights are on. 5 lights, a little bit of water on the cameras, and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. Fehler getting away nicely. Drivers trying to keep it clean. Hitting him, though, with a much better start than Racer. But Racer's going to try to go around the outside, brake later through turn 1. Everyone keeping it clean through the field. Yes, looking very clean. Patrick still has not reconnected, so his AI is ghosted. But Jan Fehler leading the way from everyone. Captain X trying to clear the AI of Patrick. But Jan Fehler leading the way. No real position changes through Sector 1. Lior is up, though. Actually, he did get Armate, but they're going to go side by side. Look at this aerial view from the Grand Hotel. as they go through the hairpin. They're going double file. Ooh, a little bit of contact between, I believe, Azure and Richie B towards the back. It looks like the Mercedes just kind of ran into the back of the Haas. A few cars ghosting right now. No visible damage on that Mercedes, but there might be a tad bit of wing damage as the driver's just struggling to get around. Everyone just taking their time. It's very tight. The first lap, definitely the hardest around here. But F1 Racer keeping up with Jan Fehler, but Rivershawn picking up a 3-second time penalty, and so did Simax already.
Wow, yeah, they just completely cut the Noville chicane, so they both got penalties. If you're going to cut the chicane, go very, very slow so you don't get the time penalty. That's really what you kind of have to do. But Jan Fehler leading the way. He's looking pretty good at the front. F1 Racer right behind, hitting and still in third. So the field, I mean, there's a lot of teams that have jumped. I mean, Simax is all the way down. Oh, he's got no front wing. That's why
he took
he
some
couldn't
damage,
make the chicane, and he just blitzed it too. He blitzed it too quick. He's actually going to just straight up retire.
Yeah, he's decided that his day is over. It's just the wet weather here, really brutal, taking an absolute toll, and unfortunately, Simax is our first victim. Now, it wasn't on track, thankfully, so we are still green flag racing here up at the front. Fehler trying to gap Racer a little bit, hitting and looking a little quick behind, but some gaps have formed with Rivershawn down in 9th outside of, well, there's no DRS because it is wet right now on track no matter what. But good to see the timing board's not saying it's lap 3 when it's lap 2, so at least that is fixed. Codemasters did fix something for us as the field is starting to spread out as drivers really struggle. Now, going through the tunnel is going to probably be the hardest part in this track. I mean, yeah, driving the wet sucks, but driving on a dry track with intermediate tires, whew, and that's what they're going through with the tunnel right now, so. Ooh, and a little bit of rear wheel spin from Sauerbraten as Richie B gets hit with an instant 5-second time penalty for cutting the Noville chicane. I believe that was a mistake, but it was a mistake that really punished him, and he will end up starting that when he pits. So, unfortunate so far for the Haas driver.
You know, very unfortunate. Not unfortunate for Sauerbraten. He's up 3 so far, so he's really kind of improved his starting position after the 13th place qualifying as Jan Fehler goes purple through that lap 2. As we have, remember, just 15 cars. Simax, he's now actually just straight up left the server. He's the DNF. He's had enough. Don't know why. Monaco is one of those tracks, Fizzy. In season 3, I lost 2 front wings and still finished 5th.
Well, hopefully Richie B has the same luck. He's serving his penalty now and replacing his wing. So he's looking to have that luck that you've had. Anything can happen. It is Monaco. Lior's up a few positions now. Our mate really struggling for grip all the way at the back. Also, my shift key is really struggling as well. Every time I go to click on a driver outside the top 10, it goes, nah, we're going to give you one of the guys in the top 10. Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Interesting enough, the top 5 the order has remained unchanged. Now, Patrick is AI who's been driving, so technically he is a DNF. Well, no, he did come back because the car doesn't look ghosted, but there's a yellow flag.
In the formation lap.
Okay, so he's driving, so he's down in 8th. Azure, meanwhile, the South African, I think, had an incident coming out of the tunnel section, completely missing the front end. There goes our mate, really struggling as well through the Noville chicane. So some of these guys really getting caught out by these conditions. And Azure's into the wall. The South African is our first retirement. Front right tire completely off of the car. Suspension broken. Race over for Azure, but we still are going normal. There's no caution, no VSC, no safety car, even though his car's kind of parked on the racing line. So that is very peculiar, but hopefully Richie B is smart enough to avoid it. Oh, almost hits the parked Mercedes on exit, so got to be very careful there. But yeah, towards the front, everyone is driving fine. It's good to have Patrick back at least, so he lost a few positions when he was rejoining, and now he's running in 8th. But 2 drivers now we have lost to the treacherous conditions, so hopefully we do not lose more.
Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate that he's hit the wall. Actually, I really would have thought that was an instant safety car. He's right on the racing line, really.
Yeah.
So, but no. And one thing to note, I just rode on board there with Jan Fehler just for a second through the tunnel section. He actually lifts. So the tunnel section is really, really, really going to be one of the worst areas because DRS has been enabled. So race control thinking the track is dry enough to get DRS enabled, and that's going to prompt Jan into the pits. Here they come in for dry tires. I think it's a little too early, but it's going to be the hards for Jan.
Yes, our mate, meanwhile, spinning through the Nova chicane. Hittinen stayed out. A lot of drivers coming to the pits now. Will Jan Fehler be getting held? He did not get held in the pits, but some of these guys could be getting held. Everyone coming into the pits right now. Question is, how long will it take for it to fully dry? The rain has stopped. Oh, no, it's still coming down a little bit. I'm looking at Hittinen on board right now. There's, like, sprinkles. The track looks almost completely dry, but there still looks like a little bit of water coming down, but not a lot. Interestingly enough, though, Jan Fehler on the hards, so he's going to be struggling a little bit. Yeah, there's still a little bit of rain coming down. So we'll have to see if he's able to gain ground on Hittinen. Now, normally the pit lane is about a 20-second loss, but most of the drivers on mediums or hards. Our mate, though, going for softs. Richie B staying out on his fresh inners, taking the gamble that it'll take a little bit longer to dry up. And right now, Hittinen, he's not losing really any time to Jan Fehler. So hard to say if it's fully time for the dries.
I think it is. He's using a little bit of time now. The gap was 15.8 coming out of the pit, so he's lost a second. And you can see going through that middle sector, there's not a lot of spray coming up off the cars. Yes, I know it is a slower sector of the circuit, but there really isn't much spray coming out, and the track's really dried up very quickly. I'm not seeing a ton of standing water left, though it does look like that coming in for the dries was the right call. Hittinen now in the pits. Oh, Jan gets it a little loose, but he keeps it. He keeps it pinned to the track and out of the barriers, and that's pretty much going to be the story of this entire race, as Jan coming around here trying to overtake Hittinen in the pits. Hittinen, I think, he's just done his stop, but Jan should be just by. In fact, Hittinen's going to rejoin in fourth.
Yeah, also, you got to look at Jan Fehler's on the hards. 2 cars behind him on the mediums. F1 racer Ripson flying right now on those fresh mediums. Hittinen does come out in clean air in fourth, but he's got a little bit of work to do to catch up to the guys up ahead. But the medium tires looking golden right now in comparison to the hards. F1 racer and Ripson looking to overtake Jan Fehler, but where do you overtake? Where do you go for the move? You have the tire advantage. You don't want to just send it up the inside, especially on your rival. And you can see there, F1 racer just pushing Fehler through this middle portion of the track now, out of Portier right now. Can he get the run to the Nouvelle chicane? He's got a very good exit. He's right on the rear end of the McLaren, but I think he's going to run out of track here as he goes into the heavy braking zone of the Nouvelle chicane. Just not enough straight line speed to really just make the overtake happen. F1 racers definitely got to be very frustrated with how it's going right now.
Absolutely. The one thing I did want to note, by the way, about the tunnel section and Jan Fehler is, as Ripson gets another 3-second time penalty. The tunnel is a little bit, it's very slightly kind of off camber at the very end, right, or right at the apex of the tunnel, and it is very bumpy on the outside as Ripson sets the fastest lap at a 1:15.5. So when he was on the intermediates and he entered the tunnel at the very start of the tunnel, he didn't go flat. He lifted a little bit, and he went maybe about 40%, 50% the throttle, and then right after the apex, he put the hammer down. So interesting to see if that's going to be kind of a continuation of how he drives now that he is on slicks. It might just be how you have to cope with the inters going into that dry patch of the track. But if Jan continues to have to lift to deal with that kind of bumpiness in the tunnel, with 2 cars behind him on the mediums, he could be kind of inviting an overtake down into the Nouvelle chicane.
Yeah, he's going defensive now. He knows that F1 racers got more pace than him at this stage. I'm not sure if the hards were the good move here. I mean, the mediums can do 30-some laps. I mean, yeah, you'll be pushing them. You'll be using all of their life. But the pace advantage you'll get early on, you know, overall for the first probably half of your stint will definitely be better than the hards. But as you're seeing with F1 Racer right now, how do you overtake someone around here? He was right up on the rear bumper of Jan coming to the chicane, losing a little bit through the swimming pool session. But he's clawing back right now and already closed up 3/10 through the help of DRS and whatnot. Hittinen, meanwhile, closing in a little bit, setting the fastest lap. So don't count him out just yet.
Absolutely not, but I get you go for the hards here because you know that's a blinding lap from Sauerbraten, by the way, a 1:12.9 in race conditions. But you go for the hards knowing how hard it is to overtake, knowing how difficult it is to overtake. It's almost like why a lot of kind of medium to soft strategies around here are very, very powerful, or even soft, starting on the softs and going to mediums. Making up your places early, if you would, because you can very much defend, and it's very hard to overtake. So you know, back in the old F1 days when there were 2 stoppers, you would always want to kind of put your hardest tire on at the end, because you know you're going to be very difficult to overtake, especially if you're a slower car and you can kind of try to undercut for positions in the pits. But gone are those days, and so now it's Jan just trying to defend off with a hard compound tire, as it's F1 racer that goes fastest with a 1:11.8.
I think the DRS is helping him. He's got the tire advantage. He also has the DRS advantage, so Jan Fehler is just going to be unable to pull away for the time being. He's just got to hope that he's got enough pace to keep F1 racer behind when it matters, since, you know, there's not many places you can overtake here, and then just hope his tires will fall off. Now, it's very curious. Now, we got a little bit of battle, actually, back down in 7th. Galaxy leading a little bit of a trade with Rivershan and Patrick and Field Racing Seb. So we're going to keep an eye on both these sets of battles right now as F1 racer. Again, gaining a little bit through the tunnel, but he's not going to be close enough into the Nouvelle chicane at this time. He's going to have to really send it and be really brave on the brakes. But back to that battle for 7th. Rivershan does have those penalties. But a little bit of a queue here. Got 4 cars. You know, you got Galaxy, Rivershan, Patrick, Field Racing Sev. The 4 different cars that have the blue colors in the game, or bluish colors, depending on how you want to take Mercedes into account there. And yeah, a little bit of a queue behind Galaxy, as it's a hard tire runner holding up mediums. So almost just fell off my chair for a second there. So that's huge. But apparently Ripson is saving tires, but not on that lap. He blitzed it right there.
Yeah, it's the same story down here in 7th that it is in the lead. It's the hard holding up these medium compound runners. Ooh, very loose. Coming out is Rivershan. Now he's going to go for the overtake. Ooh, the squeeze. Very tight, and the Mercedes just cannot get by. He tried. He was looking on this run up to the hill, but it's so impossible. It's so windy and bumpy up the hill. He's just got to keep it pinned to the track, really. As Rivershan had a look down into turn 1, but couldn't get the job done. But going back to F1 Racer very quickly here, Fizzy, he's getting good run in the tunnels as we see him in there now, but I think he's going to have to get a really good exit out of Raskas, and because the opportunity to overtake Jan Fehler's there, but I think he's only going to be able to on that front straight.
Yeah, I do agree, and actually it was, I believe, Patrick who just overtook Rivershan, so Rivershan got loose, and he fell victim to Patrick. So Rivershan actually looking to fall victim to Field Racing Seb in the background. Seb not able to make the move, did not have the overspeed or really the room to make the move, but he's really pressuring him there. But now let's see F1 Racer coming out of Anthony Nadges now, just not close enough. He's not able to get, like you said, the run out of Raskas into Anthony Nadges close enough to Jan Fehler to make it count. But yeah, Ripson saving 2%, only using 2% tires a lap. That's kind of just reinforcing what I was saying by just, you know, putting the mediums on, and they'll run to the end because they are a phenomenal tire around this track. I mean, the hards, I mean, they're not too bad. I mean, look at Fehler, what he's doing, but at the same time, the mediums are just so much better right now, and yeah, they're really, really going to see. And now there will be lap traffic a bit coming up ahead in the form of Richie B, who's just not having a good debut this season in Tier 1. But F1 Racer, once again, let's go on board with him. He's a little closer this time through the tunnel. He's using all of his battery, but he's not going to have enough room. Tries to go for the move, but Jan Fehler covering the inside line and basically ending any chance that the Ferrari driver might have had going into the Nouvelle chicane.
Fantastic stuff. And Patrick here, very, very close to, oh, he's going for the inside move. A little bit of contact going down, by the way, in the Nouvelle chicane. And Patrick's had to let Galaxy through. He gave up, he had contact, he kind of bumped him. And Galaxy actually got a 3-second time penalty. That is certainly going to be in the hands of the stewards, because it's just so hard to leave room there for anybody, really. It's just so tight. And he'll be hard done, he'll be hard pressed. And he was bumped by the Williams off of the chicane. So Galaxy Racer remains in 7th. Patrick's got that DRS. We'll see if he can get the rundown. It looks like he's too far. He's just lost too much time on that bump. And so it'll be Patrick remaining in 8th place. He's got to be careful because Rivershan is right behind him, and he's shown blinding pace. He's right on the gearbox again of Patrick.
Yeah, he's looking really, really quick. F1 Racer a little farther behind right now. He's not going to be able to make the move into the Nouvelle chicane. A lot of these drivers using all of their battery here in the early stages trying to go for the overtake. Sauerbraten, meanwhile, actually has caught up to this 4-car battle, which is now a 5-car battle. So he's done a fantastic job to catch back up to this group. But the question is, now you've caught up to the group. That's nice. Now what are you supposed to do now? Because all these guys are trying to go to the end on their tires. Do you go for a potential switch onto softs later on and maybe hope someone gets punctured or some damage? I don't know. So there's just so much going on right now with how these guys are, how the trains are and how there's just very little room to overtake, which I'm sure Ripson's probably thinking about right now as he's now catching up to F1 Racer, who's struggling a bit. Ripson going for the left-hand side of the track on the Ferrari driver. He sees that F1 Racer's out of battery, but instead he's just going to stick to the rear diffuser of the Ferrari. Not able to make a move, but here he goes, though, out of Casino Square and into Mirabeau. Ripson making a fantastic move up the inside of F1 Racer. He's up to P2. F1 Racer down into third. Fantastic move.
That's a brilliant move. That is the overtake of the season so far for me. I mean, that is absolutely world class from Ripson. What an overtake. As he is now wanting to have a go at Jan Fehler in the lead. Ripson, remember, he is sitting in P3 in the championship, and he wants to put pressure on Jan Fehler here. Doesn't want to let him slip away. He feels he has a chance to at this championship. It's early days still. We'll see if he can do just that. So fantastic stuff from Ripson overall. He might be on a bit of a blinder here of a lap here. I'm wondering to see what their times are coming across the lap. Coming across the line, I should say, but he's done a 1:11.4, so pretty solid lap overall from him as well. Despite the fighting, usually you would expect the fighting to take a good second or two out, but he is gaining on Jan. He's only 3/10 back, and he is looking mighty quick.
Yeah, F1 Racer apparently hit the wall and has a little bit of front wing damage, so that would explain why the Ferrari driver is struggling, on top of the fact that he's out of batteries. Very slight damage. You don't see it on our end. You still see the end plate, still see the wings, looks fine. But Ripson almost losing the rear end out of the Grand Hotel hairpin. But yeah, he's glued to the back of Jan Fehler. He's definitely had some of the best overtakes this season between that one we just saw a lap ago and through the ones he did through Spain. But now he's going to have to make the overtake that matters for the race lead over Jan Fehler. Jan is no sloucher, and he's going to defend very, very well. So Ripson has got it all to do now if he wants to win. F1 Racer, though, even with that slight amount of damage, not really dropping off, so the German driver should still be able to hang on to it. But there, look at Ripson, though. He's getting much better exits out of Rascasse. He's glued to the rear end of Jan Fehler. Will this be his chance? Down the front straight, Fehler using all of his battery. Ripson trying to go around the outside, but he's not close enough to make the move. But now, out of turn one, he's going to try to go side by side up the hill. This is very brave from the Haas driver. He's going to go around the outside of Massenet, leaving just enough space for the German driver, and Ripson is through. Ripson is into the lead, going around the outside, but Fehler's fighting back, trying to go up the inside of Mirabeau. He's still there. He's still there. He's going to try to defend through the hotel hairpin. And no, Ripson into the lead of the race. Fantastic move by the Haas driver.
That is some of the best racing you'll see. That is absolutely remarkable from Ripson. What a move to get into the lead. It's so windy and bumpy up the hill. You have to have a certain kind of steel just to absolutely stick it and send it up the hill. And he's done just that. Well played to both as well to absolutely avoid all the curves. It's like a death trap flying up the hill there side by side. And somehow they both managed to come away unscathed. But Ripson, he's already put 1.2 ahead of Jan. He's outside DRS. He is absolutely free to take complete control of this race.
Yeah, I don't see any kind of residual damage on Fehler's car or Racers. I think that's just pure pace from Ripson. Fantastic move, very committed. He left just enough space for the German driver on the inside line, and Ripson made it count, and he made it work. That was 100% the move of the season so far, just because of how hard that was. He went around the outside of Massenet. You don't go around the outside of a corner like Massenet. And wow, Ripson making my breath, I'm losing my voice just talking about his Kev Genetics disconnects from the session. We're going to see if we can get him back here as soon as possible. He's running in 6th, so I believe that is a game crash. But Ripson, fantastic stuff. Wow, just wow.
Oh, that's absolutely, that's the kind of overtake we'll be talking about in AOR for a very long time. It's just blinding stuff from Ripson. The Haas driver is absolutely sending it across this track. And so, I mean, even just looking at these laps, just following, he is just absolutely dialed in here at Monaco. As Captain X is reconnected, so not too much time lost. And meanwhile, Patrick down in 8th, he is trying to get on the back of the gearbox of Galaxy again as Ripson sets the fastest lap on a 11-2, and this Williams is keeping awfully pinned to the Red Bull in front of him.
Yeah, if we just learned anything from Ripson, you gotta stay pinned through Raskas. Now down the front straight. There is actually Captain X. He's finally rejoined into his car, but he's lost a decent amount of time as now Patrick just not close enough. It's gonna make it a lot harder as it's now a 6-car battle that we're looking at here, because there's just about a second between Rivershan and Patrick, so it's 2 sets of 3. But wow, it's going to go from Kevgenex to Galaxy to Patrick to Field Racing Seb to Sauerbraten. Oh, sorry, to Rivershan to Field Racing Seb to Sauerbraten. So this nice little train has formed a little farther back as Armate into the pits off of the medium tire. Oh, please, game, let me switch to him. As Armate off of the soft tire on to the medium tire. His day. Now he's down in 13th, not much going on. He really struggled in the wet after having a good qualifying, so unfortunate to see the rain catch him out.
Yeah, but still a little bit of a ways to go. You know,
F1 racer in the pits.
F1 racer into the pits. Yeah, interestingly enough, we'll see if he changes the wing. I think that's going to be necessary. Yeah, they are going to change the wing as well. So he puts on fresh mediums, and he's going to come out with a brand new wing. Darn is going to catch him, though, it looks like. So he might rejoin. Oh, he's going to rejoin just behind this train. That's going to make F1's racer day very much more difficult because he is stuck behind that 6-car train now.
Yeah, F1 racer's just going to have to hope for some kind of chaos up ahead if he wants to improve. He was running so well up front, but I guess he just had too much damage. And I guess he thought he might have the gap to come out ahead, but he wasn't really pulling away enough. But yes, Ripson is 100% absolutely unleashed right now. 2.2 clear of failure. Actually running down his current teammate in Richie B and the other Haas driver. So he's going to get a little bit of DRS too to help him pull away as Richie gets lapped. But these front two guys flying right now. Also sitting in third is Hitton, and he's not doing bad. You know, he's not lighting up the timing borders, but he's also now 10.3 ahead of Darn, who's starting to fall into the clutches of Kevgenetics, who is in that train. You know, now it's going to be a much bigger train. But Hitton having a good day in third. The Finnish driver, his best result of the season so far. Just kind of a boring drive, but hey, a boring drive that puts you on the podium, you cannot complain about, that's for sure. But all the action is behind him as Darn falls in the clutches of Kevgenetics and the Mega Train. That is 5th place all the way down to 10th for the rest of the points.
I mean, it's Monaco. A boring drive usually means you're doing something right, quite frankly. As Ripson has caught his teammate, so he's going to have the other Haas and Richie B is going to have to let him go here pretty soon. He hasn't quite let him pass yet. He's got to be careful not to take a penalty here for ignoring the blue flag. Says, oh, the car's ghosted. Yeah, so that is going to be Richie B letting him through. Ripson is no longer held up by the traffic. Nicely done. And F1 Racer, he's closing the gap, by the way, to Sauerbraten as our mate goes fast as a 1:10.7. Interestingly enough, on those fresh mediums. What a blinding lap from our mate.
Yes, very good lap. I'm not too surprised. I mean, he's on fresh tires. But him and F1 Racer, two drivers on very fresh tires, you know, going to be the fastest on track. Because F1 Racer was over 3, almost 4 seconds behind Sauerbraten. He's now 1.5 behind. He might be on a purple lap right now. Actually, no, he's not. But still, he's flying right now, the Ferrari driver. He was one of the fastest cars. I mean, he was literally in the position to do what Ripson did on Jan Fehler. Just wasn't able to be committed enough to make the move. And now, as a result of taking damage as well and hitting the wall, he's down in the 11th, but he's definitely one of the fastest cars out there. There he goes. He goes purple, 110.5. He's caught up to the queue. Now, actually, it looks like Field Racing Seb is going side by side with Rivershan. He's trying to do the same move as Ripson, going around the outside of Massenet, but they're still side by side. Ooh, Field Racing Seb gets a little bit of tap from Rivershan and has to back out of it there. It looked like Rivershan had a good enough exit out of Massenet, then just kind of closed the door through Casino. I mean, he had enough space on the exit, or on the apex, excuse me. But Seb just did not have the commitment around the outside on Rivershan like Ripson did on Fail. He also did not have the tire advantage, as both of them are on 15-lap-old mediums. Actually, F1 Racer, though, in the background, goes up the inside of Sauerbraten. They make contact. Sauerbraten, oh, and F1 Racer taps the wall. Sauerbraten got spun around. F1 Racer tried to go up the inside. He was not left any space, and the two of them made contact, bounced into the wall with each other, and F1 Racer's day has gone horrible once again losing contact. He might have more wing damage. I mean, we heard his car hit the wall, but both of them have lost contact with the cars up ahead.
I'm not seeing too much damage on that front wing, though, so he is still sticking it around here as it's Goat Richie who's coming out of the pits. He is having a very bad day, unfortunately, for Richie B. But nonetheless, I'm not seeing too much damage on F1 Racer, so nicely, you know, still can try and catch Sauerbraten ahead of him. But I'll tell you what it's done. It's pushed Sauerbraten way outside of the group ahead. It's kind of broken that chain up. Sauerbraten's 1.7 back now, as Field Racing Seb, Ripson, and Patrick now are outside the DRS zone for Sauerbraten. So there's a chance F1 Racer can get Sauerbraten going down the main straight here on the next lap.
Yeah, also nothing to note, Patrick was right behind Galaxy that last lap as Ripson picks up another time penalty. He's just basically going to almost eliminate him from points at this rate. Patrick was very close to Galaxy. He's now 2 seconds behind. All of a sudden, he's really struggling. The medium's a little bit older. He's still got plenty of laps to go. But maybe the hard tire is coming to life a little bit in comparison to some of these guys who's pushed it a little more. Ripson, though, with all of his penalties, well, 9 seconds penalties, he's going to lose a lot of positions. Our mate actually just got Liors through the Novo chicane. Liors went deep, cut the corner, and our mate was able to make the overtake stick. That is unfortunately not for any points on the board, but it's still a position as our mate smacks the wall and might take a little bit of side pod damage there. But yeah, Failer's still at the front, or still in second, excuse me, 3.1 behind our current race leader, Ripson. He's looking to make this race win stick. He's got enough room behind to Failer in the event that he does get a penalty, but he's looking very, very good so far. So good job to the Airborne driver leading the way.
Absolutely good job. His Airborne teammate still down in 10th place, mind you. Still watching that kind of 5-4-way scrap down there for 7th place. But you are right, Patrick is dropping off the pace quite a lot. It was at 1.2.4 during this lap, so it is widening between 7th and 6th. We'll see if it's any maybe front wing damage that he's trying to nurse as well around this track. But nonetheless, it is you know, a pretty quiet drive at the front. Hitton has not moved positions. He's the only driver not to have. But Darn has quietly had a decent race. He's up 1 into 4th place, and same with Kev Genetics, who's up 2 into 5th, as Richie actually goes quickest at a 1:10.2.
Darn actually getting reeled in by Kev Genetics. He was a little bit farther ahead, and he's been lapping good, you know. He's been taking it nice and cautious. Doesn't have any damage by the looks of it, but he's getting reeled in by Kev Genetics and now Galaxy. Yellow flag. Oh, Failer's retired! Oh my lord! Jan Failer has lost it out of the Novel chicane, and he has retired the car. Look at his car sideways. He's missing his his right front tire, and our championship leader is out of this race. We're not seeing a safety car at the moment, though, which is very, very odd, as his car is in the middle of the track. But that is heartbreak for the German, and basically gifts Ripson the race victory. Jan Failer is out.
That is disastrous for Jan Failer. Out of this Grand Prix. It brings Sauerbraten back into play now. Remember, he is running in the points. Mind you, he is in 9th position. So 2 points, I mean, of course, it's not enough to overtake the championship lead, but we'll see if Sauerbraten can gain any more positions, because this is a very good opportunity for him to gain on the championship leader, as well as the 3rd place in Ripson, who is on point, or on pace right now for 25 points.
I think he might be the championship leader at this rate.
Yes, I believe he will be as well. And I got to say, I'm actually shocked we haven't had a safety car. After 3 safety cars in Spain, we've had 2 cars parked in the middle of the track, and we haven't gotten a safety car here in Monaco.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, because we know they didn't change the settings, and it is on standard, so a little inconsistency there from the game, unfortunately. It's not what you want to see, but you also never want to see someone retire on track. He probably just lost the rear end. I wish we could have a replay, but that is just heartbreak for the McLaren driver, but he knows he'll come back stronger. But right now, Ripson looking to inherit the championship lead, the reserve driver, putting on a show. He's really liking that Haas car, but I don't think he's going to get a full-time seat in that car, that's for sure. But now this opens up something, though. Darn is now on a podium spot, and like we've been talking about, he's been getting reeled in by Kev Genetics and Galaxy. So all of a sudden, this battle that was kind of brewing for, you know, some good points, all of a sudden is now a battle for the podium. So will we see Kev Genetics go for it? Will we see Galaxy, who does have that 3-second time penalty, go for it? As Rivershan, you're catching some battling there. Take it away.
Yeah, Rivershan actually giving a little bump to Field Racing Seb going down into that first turn. So it is Rivershan who remains in 7th place. As Field Racing Seb tried to use the DRS and go towards the outsides, and he just got bumped out there by Patrick. So a little bit of contact. Does look like both. Oh, is he trying to stick it through the? Oh, that's a little bit dangerous there. That hairpin, but nonetheless, it's going to be still Field Racing Seb in 8th place, and they're getting a little feisty down there. This battle, they know it's for some good points now. They want to get by and try and have a rundown at at least Patrick in front, who is now 4 seconds back of Galaxy.
Yeah, well, Seb's going to get Rivershan no matter what because of 9 seconds of time penalties. Field Racing Seb's having an absolutely phenomenal day. He started all the way down at 15th. He's up into 8th. That's almost half of the grid gained. Like, phenomenal job by Seb right now, running in 8th. He's looking really racy behind Rivershan, but Patrick kind of holding up this train here a bit. He probably does have damage with how he's driving. He must have, but there goes Rivershan. Gained a ton on Patrick down the main straight, but was not able to make the overtake. But now here he goes. Patrick trying to shut the door on Rivershan. Rivershan probably not too happy about that, as he's just got to nestle in behind Patrick. Patrick now over 4.6 behind Galaxy, so he has to have damage. There's no other explanation to why he's just lost so much time. I mean, visually, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know if you are, Benny, but I mean...
No, I'm not.
He's lost so much time. He's got to have some kind of damage that we just can't see. And unfortunately, I mean, he's holding on to 6th place very well, and it's hurting everyone else's race behind, but he's lost the 3-second penalty that he would get, or sorry, the 3-second gap to benefit from Galaxy's penalty. But there goes Field Racing Seb up the inside. Oh, and he's round. Rivershan turned in probably a tad too early there and went and sent Seb round. Not sure if Seb really was ever going to make that work, to be honest, but Seb was having such a good day now, down in 10th. Rivershan, though, picks up another time penalty for his trouble. But Seb down the order. Rivershan holding on to 7th, but at the cost of Seb.
I'm kind of worried for Seb's tires as well, by the way, because he's locking them a lot. I'm seeing a lot of smoke coming out of his tires. Up towards, not so much turn 1, but kind of down towards the Grand Hotel hairpin and
look ahead.
You know, the corner.
Look at the Aston Martin Sauerbraten defending beautifully from F1 Racer. F1 Racer looked like he had the move done through turn 1. Sauerbraten pulled his switch back and was able to retain his 8th place. Some fantastic battling going on there. He basically defended in a similar way that Ripson overtook Failer. So an absolutely fantastic job by Sauerbraten to defend the position there. Also, Ripson's almost a pit window ahead of Hittinen right now. So we might see him maybe go for the not the Grand Slam, but, you know, the fastest lap and the race win today.
Yeah, he's trying to get the double. Trying to do the double, maybe. We'll see. He's got to put a little bit more gap between him and Hittinen, who, you know, Hittinen's just, it's about consistency, right? Monaco is about consistency, and that's exactly what he's shown. He's just shown that consistency lap after lap after lap. You don't have to be the fastest driver on the track. You just have to keep it out of the walls, and you just have to put semi-decent lap times up. That's exactly what Hittinen's done today, and it's been good. It could be good enough for a podium by the end of the day. Of course, Ripson looking for his first win of the season, and it would be fantastic if he could take it away here in Monaco. The crown jewel of all the races there, Fizzy. What a way to get your first win of the season. Yeah,
it's definitely the crown jewel at all. He'd be the 3rd race winner in as many races, so some definitely great action here in tier number 1. But we still got a decent amount of laps to go. I mean, we didn't think, you know, Jan Fehler would just DNF. That's not something that's normal for the German driver. Anything can happen. I don't want to commentator curse anyone, but we don't know. There's still plenty of racing left to go, so you don't really know. Also, I think Darn is keeping Kev Genetics in arm's length away, keeping him out of DRS range just enough to hold on to 3rd position. Galaxy, though, looking very racy behind Kev Genetics.
Yeah, he's trying to reel in these last 6/10s here. He's going to get a little bit of a rundown here on the straight as they go around the final turn. DRS is open for Galaxy. I don't think there's enough track there for him to attempt the overtake, but he just wants to get close. Just wants to keep it pinned towards the back of the gearbox. He actually didn't gain a lot of time. He's still kind of hovering around that 6/10 mark. So Genetics has done a very good job of keeping Galaxy at bay as well, mind you. So very nicely done. Meanwhile, down a little bit further down, Ripson is really on the gearbox. You just see the DRS every time tries to tries for Ripson to get the overtake. It invites the overtake, and he just cannot seem to get past Patrick. It's a brilliant defensive drive for the Williams driver so far.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job there, holding on to P6 with what we assume is damage. Dizzy Ripson getting a good run. Also, Kev Genetics almost in DRS range of Darn. He's having a very good lap this time around. He was actually almost within a second going into the tunnel. He's lost a little bit of time through the Nouvelle chicane. So we're going to keep an eye on that Delta up the road. Actually, he might have just gotten it. Yeah, Kev Genetics just got DRS on Darn. So this is very crucial because if he can get it and stay in DRS range, he might have a chance for putting. He actually did not get DRS, so he's at a second. Did not get DRS, but he needs to just get that extra 10th of a second so he can be within DRS and challenge for that podium spot. Ripson, though, right on the gearbox of Patrick. You see if he can get a better exit. Oh, he's looking for it. He's trying to go up the inside. So try to go for the inside. Massenet. Oh, they made contact. Ripson losing the rear end up the hill. I saw an end plate go flying. That was off of Patrick's car, so Patrick's definitely got to be very unhappy about that move. He's missing his right front end plate after Ripson lost the rear end up the hill and bumped Patrick into the wall. Patrick losing out positions to both Sauerbraten and Field Racing Seb. He is down in 10th. He's going to have to pit to change that wing. I'm sure we'll see that in the steward's room. But now Ripson up to 6th provisionally with his 12 seconds of time penalties.
Yeah, the 12 seconds of time penalties really going to come back to haunt him. So, nonetheless, Patrick got to keep it, get it around the track. He's got plenty of time to pit, but he's not going to be back in contention for anything higher than 10th place right now. And this is kind of why, if you're our mate, you know, you had a really rough start to the Grand Prix, but you want to stay in it because if you can get the pass, I mean, Liors has got the time penalty, so he's not, and I understand that Liors is 41 seconds back, but you think, Liors has got the time penalties, right? So 11th is going to be our mates. You get another DNF elsewhere on the track, you're in the points. Yes. Right, and that's all what it's about here, is just securing those points. So, well done by our mate not to give up here. He's still fighting for it, hoping, you know, something else that has to go his way, obviously, but still, nonetheless, just hanging in there and hanging tough. Meanwhile, Kev Genetics, you mentioned that he got DRS on Darn. He's now a second and a half back. The gap is reopened up between the two drivers.
It looks like Kev Genetics blitzed it, almost had it, but then lost it once again. So Darn, once again, you know, stretching the muscles a little bit, just hanging on to that podium spot. Great job by our Williams driver in 3rd place. Doing a good job today, you know. He's kind of in a little bit of bummers. There goes F1 Racer. He finally makes the move on Sauerbraten into the Nouvelle chicane. Made it stick this time. He's up into 7th. Next on the list is Ripson. He's guaranteed to get it due to the penalties, but we know he wants more. We know he wants it on track. F1 Racer's been very quick all day, and we'll have to see. And who smacked the wall? That, I believe that was Patrick, who you saw smack the wall before, so that is unfortunate. But now F1 Racer looking to make the move on Ripson. He's got battery. He's got a decent amount left, but the Mercedes driver has been very, very feisty in battle today, so F1 Racer might have to be careful there when going side by side with the Mercedes driver up ahead. But, you know, it's 9.3 up to Galaxy, so even if F1 Racer does clear Ripson, I don't think he's going to be able to get within 3 seconds of Galaxy, no matter how hard he pushes, unfortunately, because we're just running out of laps. So, unfortunate, but by the looks of it, Racer's the best he's going to do is going to recover 2.6 after taking that little bit of damage early on in the race.
Yeah, a really good move, though, actually, to get by Sauerbraten down to the Nouvelle chicane, just really late on the brake. And he actually got the move done prior to turning in, so he could, you know, leave enough space for Sauerbraten, and it wasn't going to be one of the. It's just going down into the Nouvelle chicane is always difficult. You're always kind of asking for contact or damage of some sort. And, nice done by F1 Racer, get the overtake done, and kind of take that out of the equation. So, really solid pass, really solid overtake. But F1 Racer now trying to reel in Ripson. Yes, he wants to do it on track. He'll get it in the standings either way. And you are absolutely right. It's pretty much he's pretty much out of track. You'd have to gain almost a second a lap now on Ripson to get. I'm sorry, on Galaxy to get in contention for that 5th place spot. It's just not going to happen as he continues to be held up by the Mercedes in front of him.
So I mentioned in chat, someone said they saw a Haas hit the wall. I would assume that's Richie B who hit the wall at some point, because Ripson's still cruising up at front, not losing any time here. Starting lap 34 out of 39. So Ripson doing a fantastic job right now. He's lapped, as Patrick goes fastest overall, he's lapped the top, or only the top 9's in the lead lap, excuse me. As actually Kevin X again, he's just beyond that second mark. Let's keep an eye on the Alpine driver. Can he be committed through the 3rd sector just to get those last few thousandths of a second? Right now he's under the second mark, and there he's past the DRS detection zone. Kevin X should have DRS down the main straight. He's 7/10 behind, and here comes the battle. He's got the DRS. It is wide open, and now the battle for 3rd place, it's on.
Very much on. He's going to have to really reel him in this next lap or two, because, again, we are running out of opportunities and laps to overtake him. We've seen Darn previously just put the hammer down whenever Kev got very close, and look at that. Darn is very close to doing that as well. He's increased the gap to 0.85 seconds, and Patrick takes a 3-second time penalty, so I'm not going to be too fussed about that. Armade is 14 back, but nonetheless, Kev Genetics here got to stay within a second, and Darn looks to be dropping a hammer again.
Darn is trying to drop the hammer. Kev Genetics out of battery. So in all these spots where he needs to have all the power, but both of them out of battery. So now it's just a matter of driving skill. Who can just, hang on? Can Kev Genetics just hang on in the DRS window and just force Darn to keep using that battery? F1 Racer, meanwhile, looking very, very close. He actually has cut the chicane. He missed it trying to go for the overtake on the inside of Rivershan and missed the chicane. Had to back out of it. Picked up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. So that'll cost him 7th position. He'll lose out to Sauerbraten and Field Racing Seb behind. It's heartbreak.
He's lost an end plate. He lost an end plate. He got put into the wall by Rivershan. They just clipped the rear tire, clipped the front wing, and his end plate came off. So he has dived into the pits to replace the end plate. He's going to come back, or replace the whole wing, I should say. He's going to come back out probably in 9th position, just ahead of Patrick. But he went for the same move that he got by on Sauerbraten with, and it didn't work out. This time Rivershan shut the door, and in a pretty feisty manner. And that's put F1 Racer back down in 9th position. And Patrick actually goes past. He's going to come out in 10th.
Patrick with a nice undercut, but also at the same time, Sauerbraten made a move on Rivershan. So Rivershan might have a little bit of damage as well. Sauerbraten up into 6th place, minimizing the damage done to his championship rival and airborne teammate Ripson. Again, it's too far back to benefit off of Galaxy, but he's up into 6th. Now Rivershan hanging on to keep Field Racing Seb behind on track. Meanwhile, Ripson, though, he's lapping F1 Racer, who's going to be a lot faster at this stage. Ripson actually losing a little bit of time to hit it now. He's only 18.5. Doesn't have any visible damage as Rivershan picks up another time penalty. He's up to 15 seconds. At this rate, maybe even Patrick. Well, if Patrick didn't have the time penalty, Patrick could, in theory, get a position off of Rivershan. He's going to need a few more seconds, though. But Ripson, we're looking at right now, coming through the swimming pool section. He's going to cross the line with 3 to go. It's been an absolutely fantastic drive, an absolutely dominant drive by the Haas driver to take home the race win. Now, still got 3 laps, so knock on wood, but he's doing a fantastic job to hang on to the race lead and hopefully the race victory.
There you go, knocked on wood for him. But as things stand, Ripson will lead the championship, and his teammate Sauerbraten, remember, he had a very poor qualifying. He was down in P13, but what did we say, Fizzy? Consistency is key around this track. He's kept it out of the wall, he's kept it out of trouble, and he's up 7 positions into 6th. It's worth 8 points, and it would be worth 2nd place in the championship. He would overtake Jan Fehler by 2 points. So the airborne drivers, team reserve, if you will, 1 and 2 in the championship standings as things stand, if they can just close out these final 3 laps.
Yes, doing a fantastic job for that reserve team now. Galaxy and Kevin X both getting DRS, but it's not looking like it's going to be enough. Patrick, meanwhile, he's only 15 behind Field Racing Seb. It's going to need a little bit more help to catch up to Rivershan, but it's looking possible that the Williams driver might be able to possibly pick off Rivershan off of penalties. So if he keeps it up, he might have it. I don't think F1 Racer is going to get it. I mean, coming around, I mean, he's got 3 laps to go now. Ripson's not too far behind, coming out the final corner to take 2 to go. So Patrick's going to have 3 laps to close up. I'd say about 3 seconds. Yeah, close to 3 seconds, but he's flying. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Patrick get 1 more position off of Rivershan, who's just, not had a great day. He's been defending really well, but maybe too aggressive at some points. It did hit Patrick into the wall. And so, yes, not the Mercedes driver's day. Not Team Mercedes not having a good day as well, with Azur down in 15th and DNFing.
Yeah, the stewards are going to have quite a busy weekend. I guess yes. Quite a busy week, I should say, ahead of them. But nonetheless, it has been an absolute fantastic drive from Ripson. Take nothing away from him. He's had 2 absolutely remarkable, breathtaking overtakes to get into the lead. And he has just held on to it from there. He has got he's coming around actually to start his final lap of the race. It's been fantastic stuff from him all race long.
Now, I really wonder how to get. I know that there's some way you can see tire graphics in this game. I want to know how those tires are going for him right now. I mean, 34 lap pulled mediums. He's kept them alive. He's kept them running, and now on the final lap, he just has to bring it home and cross the finish line. Great job by Ripson. Meanwhile, Patrick does have the gap he needs to Rivershan, so he will be taking home 8th position. Good for him, but now we're just going to watch Ripson here. He's on his final lap of the race, and it's looking like he's going to take home the Monaco Grand Prix. The crown jewel, going to jump into the swimming pool after the race or do whatever he wants, but he'll be on the top step of the podium at this rate. He's got an 18-second gap to Hittinen running P2 as Rivershan guarantees that he will not finish in 8th position. He's actually going to lose out to F1 Racer as well now. So he's going to be down in 10th, lose another position as a result. But Ripson right now has got to back and a 3rd sector to go. It's been an absolutely dominant drive by the Haas driver. You can see Richie B behind, who I believe is 2 laps down, unfortunately for him. As Ripson comes through Rascast now and through Anthony Nodges, it's a straight, flat-out run to the line, and Ripson wins in Monte Carlo. He is your race winner for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, fantastic drive from Ripson. Really, really solid stuff. He has absolutely put himself on the map if he didn't already, and he is going to take the championship lead. Hittinen comes across the line, 2nd place. Solid performance from him, his first points scoring haul, and it's a podium position for him as Darn does stay ahead of Kev Genetics. It looks like they've got 1 more corner to navigate. The DRS is not going to be enough. The Williams of Darn in 3rd, Kev Genetics behind him in 4th, and Galaxy across the line in 5th.
Looks like Kev Genetics had a little bit of desync there. The game took away 2 seconds of his, or added 2 seconds to his race time, but he still stays ahead of Galaxy. Sarah Broughton will come home in 6th and do some damage control for the championship. Rivershan with all of his penalties down to 8th already, but here comes Patrick across the line. He will pick up 8th position. F1 Racer will incorporate 9th, and that is your final results. But yes, if someone would have just binned it at the end there, that would have been horrible. The game gives, who do they give to the driver of the day? They give it to Fuel Racing Seb. Seb did have a good result. He did come home in 7th after starting down in 15th. But it is this man Ripson who takes home the crown jewel. Dominant performance by the Haas driver today. Just absolutely did not put a foot wrong. Made the move stick around the hardest track to overtake. And Ripson comes home with his first race victory of the season. He gets a little bit of revenge after, losing out last week in Spain due to penalties. But he comes home and makes it work this week around. Benny, who is your driver of the day?
It's so hard for me to choose. I want to give it to somebody like Hittinen, who had a really solid, comfortable drive, but I think it's got to be Ripson at the end of the day. He just showed a whole class above. It was an absolutely phenomenal drive from him. 2 breathtaking overtakes and a brilliant race lead off the back of that. Interesting to note, too, Patrick with the softs on that late pit did pick up the fastest lap, so he will actually pick up 3 points in the end, but
Hmm.
a really good drive from Ripson. I'm going to give him my driver of the day.
I mean, Ripson did have a fantastic job. Had the overtakes of the day for me, but I think I'm gonna go with Field Racing Seb. I want to agree with the game. You know, starting down all the way in 15th, he kept it clean and got all the way up to 7th. Now he couldn't get more because he was kind of stuck in that train. But fantastic job by Seb to make the overtakes, make them work, and as a result was able to come home in 7th. So we're gonna go ahead now and we're going to go to the interviews. We'll see if we'll get anyone in for a post-race interview. We do have Darn, so we will at least have him coming in. So we're going to go ahead and get him in here momentarily. Oh, I'm going to need some kind of hot drink after that race because that was exciting, especially for Monaco Grand Prix.
That was absolutely crazy, and no safety car. Absolutely
Yeah.
no safety car to it all. Surprisingly enough, that astonishes me more than anything else. But yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic race overall, and some really good points performances for a lot of players as well.
Yes, I do agree. Now we're going to go ahead and bring over Darn right now. Darn, you came home on the podium. You're able to keep back Kev Genetics and Co. and was able to come home in third. How are you feeling after that very, very
Uh,
brutal race?
yeah, I think it's a great recovery compared to Spain because last time I DNF'd stupidly because of my mistakes, and it's quite a redemption today. Quali was fine. I was quite happy to start P5, and then I lost a little bit of time with the intermediates at the start of the race. But then I was able to hold out Kev all the race. It was really difficult because he was putting pressure. I mean, every laps he was getting like 1.2 to 9/10, and then when he had GRS, he was closing to 5/10. I was so stressed out. So I mean, I can be very happy with this podium today, more than with Bahrain, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was navigating the streets of Monaco is never, never easy. Now, the race started in the wet. When you saw that in qualifying, was there any kind of panic going on in your head, or were you confident that you'd be able to work around the whole wet track and make it work for you?
At first, I was quite happy because I was thinking that it could go my way. But then, when we were actually in the race, there was a lot more difficulties. So yeah, I wasn't too scared, but I uh, I was able to handle the wet condition quite correctly, I say, but not that fast. And
Okay.
I think I can be very happy because I didn't practice on the wet, so uh, I can be okay that I survived. And it's my first time that I do Monaco without any assists, and I mean this is amazing to do, but this is so painful.
Yes, I can believe it is
so
very
so happy.
painful. Benny, do you have any questions here for our third place finisher?
Yeah, I think. Were you kind of shocked that there were no safety cars? I mean, we saw two bad accidents
Yeah,
coming out of the Deauville chicane.
when uh, when Feather crashed, he was on the middle of the road, and there was debris everywhere. And I was thinking that okay, this is going to be a safety car, and there was nothing for no reasons. So I don't know why there was no safety car. And can can I have the explanation when and how he crashed? Because I saw his car when it was like 22 or something like that, but I didn't know what happened.
We missed it
If
as
you
well.
saw,
We didn't see
yeah,
how he
you
actually
missed
put it
it.
in the wall. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I mean, when I saw him, he was sideways, so I guess he was fighting with someone. I mean, this is not a usual place to crash because he was in the straight line before the left-hander, before the swimming pool,
You,
and then I don't know why he was there.
you want to know the crazy part about that, Darn? He wasn't fighting with anybody. Ripson had already passed him. He was
Yeah.
about a second or two back, and so would
Oh.
be interesting to see why. I'm sure. I mean, it
Yeah.
is a very bumpy track. There's a lot of opportunities to bin it,
Yeah,
really.
at the entry of the swimming pool, this is very tricky because there are two bumps, one on the astroturf and one on the road, and you have to handle with your wheel and hope that it sticks. So, yeah, uh, I have no words about that, but I'm happy to survive and to be here.
Just one more question, Fizzy, I have for him. Darn, you're up to, by my calculations, of course, I could be wrong, but by my calculations, you should be on 30 points, and that should be good enough to put you up into 4th position in the championship. Now, you got Azerbaijan next week, which is another street circuit with some treacherous corners, although not as much as
Yeah,
Monaco.
Castle
Uh,
section.
yep, pretty much. Uh, what is your plan for Azerbaijan, and where do you see yourself kind of in the bigger picture in terms of the championship standings, where you can finish?
I hope that I will still continue to score points and avoid doing things like I did in Spain. Uh, I don't know if I will be on the podium because I don't know my times at Azerbaijan, so I will see. But usually it's a track that I like a lot. I mean, it's better than Monaco to me because there are less tricky corners. There is a castle section and that's it. And turn 15, I guess. But yeah, I think I can handle it quite well, and I hope it will be a good race again.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much for joining us, and
Thank you.
congratulations on that 3rd place finish. We do look forward to seeing you in Baku. Hopefully, hey, for all you know, you could have great pace around there, and we just, it's all to be determined. So
Yeah,
I guess we'll have
we'll
to
see,
wait and
and
see.
maybe we will going to be seeing each other on the podium.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yes, we will see. So congratulations one last time, and have a safe and happy rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you in Azerbaijan next week.
Thank you and good night. Thanks for streaming and doing what you do because it's always great to watch replays.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. We enjoy it, and you guys bring
Goodbye,
us the
guys.
action. So cheers.
Goodbye, guys.
So that was darn. We actually do have one more interview. We're gonna go ahead and bring in our race winner, Ripson. So give me one sec to pull him in here, and it was just an absolutely fantastic drive by Ripson. Ripson, you were absolutely electric today. You made overtakes everywhere where you would not think to make the overtake, and you came home on top as a result. How are you feeling after that Monaco Grand Prix?
He's muted.
Yeah,
Ripson, you're
Mike. Hi. Quite exhausted and happy. Was a great race. Had a lot of fun. To be honest, I did some overtakes I didn't know I could do. Yeah,
Did
but what's nice.
So, I mean, those overtakes were absolutely electric. I would definitely recommend watching them back. When they were going on, did you think that was there ever a point when you said you thought you were going to back out of it, or were you just like, you know what, I'm doing it, we're going to go for it, see what happens? What was going through your head?
The first one, I called it in stream. Racer did a mistake in the one in the chicane, and I knew he probably bumped his front wing, so I had to get by as fast as possible. And I had a lot of grip. I don't know, I felt really comfortable on the track. And yeah, I took the first first opportunity there was to overtake Racer.
Yes, and then you went ahead and also overtook Jan around the outside of Masne.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, that's yeah. I think Jan had almost no ERS left, so I just pushed and he let me by for the corner on top of the hill. It was a fair fight, so and I got by because I had better tires, I guess.
Yeah, it's I mean 34 laps on the mediums. How were they feeling towards the end of the race there? Did you get worried, or was the percentages looking good? Because I know a couple people in the chat said that you were doing about 2% wear a lap. Was that kind of consistent
Yeah,
throughout the whole race?
yeah, that was probably yeah, correct. I managed behind F1 Racer quite hard. I saved a lot. Um, but yeah, medium tires were quite overpowered here,
It does sound
and
like it.
yeah.
Benny, do you got any questions for our race winner here?
Yeah, I want to go back to the overtake going Jan real quick when you're going up the hill. It's a very bumpy and a little bit windy section. What gives you the confidence to just stick it side by side going up the hill, knowing that you're dealing with all those factors in the road?
No, because I probably did them quite a lot in the past. in the exact same way. Also here in the AOR 2019. Yeah, I was used to. I knew I could do it. So yeah,
Well, you've
a lot of people don't expect full throttle up there to be side by side. So yeah, it's always surprising.
well, my only other question really is you've now taken the championship lead. You have 55 points, so you are 14 ahead of Jan Fehler, and Sauerbraten, I believe, finished 6th, so he picks up 8, so that puts him on 43. So you'll be a good 12 points ahead of him. How's it feel to be leading the championship after 3 races?
Yeah, it's I'm happy. Um, Still a bit disappointed that we are only team reserve driver, but it's good fun. It's like having an 11th team.
I mean, you guys are dominating, that's for sure. And we know from other tiers and from past, when drivers decide that they have something come up, so you'll probably have a full-time seat soon enough. I mean, your champion, hey, your points stay no matter what. So you won't be able to bring over your points that you currently have to a full-time position, but you'll definitely be bringing over them in the driver's side. So hey,
Yeah.
I think you'll be doing just fine. So congratulations on the win. And man, you absolutely blew me away today with your performance. So I'm just hoping that I could do half of that later tonight in Americas.
Good luck.
Thank you, Ripson, and one last time, congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your night. And we will look forward to seeing you next week in Azerbaijan. So
Yes.
cheers.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Bye.
That was Ripson. He's our last interview of the day. Do you got any closing remarks for us, Benny?
No, just an absolute wild Monaco Grand Prix. I mentioned in the last race in Spain, I did ask one in the Americas. I said, is this really a track that you think can come off the calendar? Because it's so hard to overtake and because it becomes so difficult with the nature of the barriers and the bumpiness in the road and everything. And they said, yeah, they wouldn't mind it. I cannot remember who I interviewed from the Americas, but they did say, they wouldn't mind seeing it gone. Well, I got to tell you, after today's race, I think it's got to be a staple for years to come. What an absolute fantastic race we had. Fizzy was absolutely just so stunning.
It absolutely was. I do have some closing remarks as well. Thank you to our sponsors as always. We have Elgato. Thank you for the Stream Deck. Go ahead and take a look at the Stream Deck and go ahead and see what their products are. They have great products over at Elgato. Thank you to SIMSOK, the best performance racing socks in the business. They are very comfy. They are form fit for your feet, and they give you extra grip when you're going ahead and braking into the braking zones of the Nouvelle Chicane and throughout the laps of Monaco. So thank you to SimSock for sponsoring this race. And finally, thank you to Driver61, very informative YouTube channel. He does have coaching options for 25% off using code, I believe, APEX. And they do offer some great sessions. Benny, would you like to clarify on that one for me?
That code is AOR Driver61. You can use it for 25% off a consultation session.
Yes, I do apologize for messing that up, but thank you once again to Driver61. He also has some great YouTube videos up on his channel, very informative stuff. I do recommend checking it out. The videos do get very technical, and they do explain a lot of Formula One along with a bunch of other racing aspects. So go ahead and check out the Driver61 YouTube page and check out if you want for some coaching sessions. That is it from the two of us today. We hope to see you guys next week in Azerbaijan. It should be a very, very exciting one. We have 3 race winners in 3 races. Will we have 4 and 4? Will we have one of our previous winners come home and repeat? We'll have to wait and see as the championship battle kicks off. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a safe and happy rest of your weekend.